y'all. So, my content area for purposes of this assignment is art. And today we're going to be using Where the Wild Things Are so that I can help students build up what I like to call a mind bank, which is really just being able to picture things like an apple or a forest in your mind, and being able to take that picture in your mind and set it down to your canvas to create whatever you want to create. It also encourages critical thinking, creative problem solving, and things like that when you're using your mind to picture situations or just other things visually in your mind. So, alright, let's get into it. Alright class, so we're going to be using Where the Wild Things Are as our inspiration for our project in the next couple of days. Now I'll be going over the project after we read the book. But before we start reading, I'm actually going to summarize the book for you so that we can concentrate on the pictures and see if they match with the words and maybe tell us a little bit more than the words do in the story, okay? Alright, so Where the Wild Things Are. Our main character is a little boy named Max, and he loves wearing his wolf suit. Now, he's a bit of a troublemaker. He's called a wild thing by his mom, and his mom sends him to his room one night after he gets into trouble. Now, since he's frustrated with his mom because he got in trouble, he imagined himself going where the wild things are. Now, we're going to look at the wild things and how they look, maybe what they remind us of, and things like that as we read, okay? So, after he gets to where the wild things are, he realizes, oh my gosh, I'm really hungry and I'm kind of lonely. So he returns back to his room and he finds that his mom has made him dinner. Okay? It sounds simple, right? Well, now we can concentrate on the pictures and see the textures and the colors and all the things that are in the pictures, okay? Alright, let's do it. Where the Wild Things Are. Story and Pictures by Maurice Sendak. Alright. Well, even starting off, we see all these colors and these weird shapes. I don't think they look like stars, even though this one's yellow. What do you think they look like? Oh, okay. They could look like flowers or leaves even, maybe some bushes. I wonder if he's gonna travel somewhere with like leaves in mind? Let's find out. Where the Wild Things Are. And look, we get a glimpse of the monsters on the title page. They look weird, huh? Look, this one has duck feet, it looks like, and a lot of yellow fur. And this one looks like it has a sweater on. Sure, it is a part of his fur, but it still looks like a sweater. Alright. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind, like building a tent in this picture, and another. Oh my gosh, he's chasing the dog out the door. That's not very nice. His mother called him, "Wild thing!" And Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. Oh no! Now how do you think that made Max feel? Does he feel happy? Does his face look happy? I don't think so. His brows are scrunched up and there's a big frown on his face. I think he looks pretty mad. Plus his room is very boring. There's no toys in it or nothing. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew. Oh my gosh! And now he's closing his eyes, imagining all the trees growing up around him. Wow. They grew and grew. And look, now his carpet is changing into grass. And that plant by the window, that grew into a bush. And you can barely see his bed. And grew until his ceiling hung with vines, and the walls became of the world all around. Wow! His room is completely gone, and he's in a forest now. And look, the trees even look different. We've got big leaves here, and smaller leaves. We even have tall plants and short plants. And the moon with all the stars in the sky. That's really creative. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day. Now, does the ocean look calm to you? No. How can you tell? Oh, I see. I see all the waves that are crashing everywhere and how it goes up and down like this. That's pretty good. Alright. I like that they show the roaring waves in the picture. And in and out of weeks and almost over a year to where the wild things are. Look, there's a wild thing right there. Wow, it looks different from the ones we saw on the title page, right? It looks like a dragon. It's even puffing some smoke right there. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. Whoa. They look pretty scary, right? They have their hands raised in the air. They look big. Well, here's the two that we saw from the title page. They look really cool, huh? But this one looks different from those two and the dragon. This one's on all fours, and it has a big horn on its nose. Oh my goodness. Let's see what happens next. Till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all. Now, how do you know they're frightened? Well, they did have their hands in the air in the last page, right? They looked big and scary. But here, they have their hands close to their face, like they're covering their eyes. That one's even hiding over there. I like the way it shows that they're scared. And made him king of all wild things. Now, how do we know he's king in this picture? Oh, I see. The crown. You're right. So we have crowns here. Kings and queens do wear crowns after all. He even has something in his hand. This is called a scepter. It's kind of like a big magic wand, you know, that wizards use, but it's for kings and queens. And look, they're even bowing to him, since people bow to royalty, right? Yeah. And now, cried Max, let the wild rumpus begin. Rumpus? What in the world is a rumpus? Let's see if the pictures will tell us. Oh, I see. Maybe a rumpus is howling at the moon? Well, that's what Max is doing. He's in his wolf suit, like it said in the beginning, and he's howling at the moon like a wolf would. And the monsters, they're jumping up and down and looking up towards the moon and all the stars. And they look pretty happy doing it too. Let's see. Oh, or a rumpus could be hanging from trees. That's what they're doing here. And they look like they're having fun doing it too. See, Max has his smile, and they're all smiling and looking at each other. They look like they're swinging too, with their legs going back and forth. Is that a rumpus? Or a rumpus could even be a parade. It looks like they're walking. Their feet are going up and down, and they're all looking at Max, and he is waving his scepter up high. Wow. Do you think that's what a rumpus is? Oh, now they're all tired. Oh, I think I get it. I think a rumpus is kind of like a party or a celebration. Do you think so? Let's continue. Now stop, Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. Without their supper? And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Does he look lonely in this picture? I think he does. He's kind of slumped over. He has a hand on his face. And he has a little frown instead of a big frown, like when you're angry. That's sad. Then all around, from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. He gave up? Oh my goodness. I thought that's what he wanted in the first place. Maybe he wanted love some more than he wanted to be king. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said, "No." The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. Do they look happy that he's leaving? I don't know. They're smiling, but they look kind of scary too, huh? I guess they don't want him to leave. And sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day. Wait a minute. In the beginning of the story, it was the reverse of this. A day, weeks, a year. Well, that was when he was leaving, right? So if it's this way, does that mean he's coming back? But where is he going back to? Let's find out. And into the night of his very own room. Oh, his room. Where he found his supper waiting for him. Look, there's supper there. Not right next to the plants. That wasn't there before. And he has his hood down, and he's smiling. He looks like he's ready for bed, huh? And his supper was still hot. The end. Okay, so class, like I said, we are going to be drawing inspiration from where the wild things are for our project. We're going to be making our own monsters based off of animals that you like or anything that you can imagine. And I'll have some inspiration up on the board for the next few days, as well as the book on display if you want to go look through it, okay? All right. And we're also going to draw in the background of where they are. Maybe they could be in a jungle or on the beach or in the snow. All right, so let's get into our desks. Let's bring out a pencil and let's get sketching on the rough drafts, okay? All right, let's do it.